What's up, everybody? So the next part of the chart that I would like to go through, and the last part, is Pisces. And Pisces is the last of the zodiac signs. It is a water sign. It is also the least understood of all of the signs because of how ethereal and how spiritual the sign itself is. So to start, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune was the god of the sea in Roman mythology, Poseidon in Greek mythology. And so we have the image of an ocean. And so you can imagine, like, I have an ocean behind me, but you can imagine like how vast the ocean is, how deep it is, how much life is filled in the ocean. Then we start to get to, like, once you go past the shore, the ocean is just this void. It is just like deep water, deep, dark water that houses like some of the most powerful, intimidating creatures on Earth, but some of like the smallest creatures on Earth too, like plankton and, compared to whales. And it's just a very, like, it's such a unique area of the world. And that's what Pisces really represents too, is like this void, this place where consciousness truly like dwells. And so Pisces is the sign of consciousness. Now I say that as in like, yeah, Pisces is the sign of consciousness. What does that mean? We don't know what consciousness truly is. We don't know where consciousness truly comes from. And this is why this sector of the chart is so difficult to understand on a logical, rational level, because we don't know what it truly means. And the further we go into science, the further we go into like splitting atoms and going into the nucleus and seeing, okay, there's something beyond protons and neutrons. Okay, now there's quarks, now there's subquarks, now it just keeps going and going and going. And it's like one of those little those cups that you pull out, and then there's a smaller like figure in each one. I think they're like Russian dolls or something. But you just keep going smaller and smaller and smaller until like you're getting to this energetic level. And that's what Pisces really dwells in, is this energetic level. And the more scientists start to discover, the more they realize, like, wow, spirituality and science are actually so highly connected that, we didn't know that necessarily before. But there's not a lot of ways to explain this, because like things, you can't explain like dreams and deja vus and visions and like images that come to you during like meditation. When you're in those states, you're in like a higher consciousness state, which is where Pisces dwells. And so like we have to pay attention to our dreams here. We have to pay attention to deja vus. We have to pay attention to anything that we can't really explain with the five physical senses. And this is where like spirituality comes into play. So like God comes into play here, or the universe, or, all of these places where we just can't really explain them. Something is connecting us like energetically, but we just don't know what it is. So how do you handle this area of the chart? So Pisces really represents like consciousness, but like in consciousness, we can use our imagination and our creativity to really start to understand this area. It's not going to work to try to figure this out logically. We can't get it that way. So anything that is enhancing your imagination or enhancing your creativity are methods to like release this Piscean energy. And you really have to listen. It's not that you just like sit down and you make something happen. It's that you listen to like what is intuitively happening, and then you just go with it. So let's say you're going to create something, it could be painting, and you just like, you go with what is in your mind. Or you're writing a poem and you go with what is in your mind, or you're playing a song. And like all of these things are coming from somewhere. They're coming from your imagination. And the key is to let them out and to let your imagination run loose. And I think it was Einstein who said that imagination are the coming attractions of life. And that really pertains here, that Einstein found his theory of relativity through meditation and through dreams. And this is very common with like people who found, like even scientific things throughout history. So like Niels Bohr, who found the structure of the atom, found it because he had a dream about horse races. Very seemingly different things, but somehow it connected his awareness into understanding the atom. Nikola Tesla, would dream and see visions of like various inventions that he wanted to invent, and he would see them in 3D, and he could turn them, in his imagination. So, I mean, there's various examples of this, but your imagination is so powerful here. You don't necessarily have to be an artist. You don't necessarily have to do those things, but like allowing that imagination to go into like a stream of consciousness state is like really important. That you just let it go, and that like there's no time limit to it. There's no, I need to do it for this amount of time, or this amount of time per week. It comes and goes. It's like, it's like the wind almost. And so like, you don't necessarily have to like create art, but like pay attention to your dreams here, like even daydreaming. So like things that come into our consciousness while daydreaming, that's all Pisces. That is all like a Pisces domain, where like it's important to know like, oh, I've been daydreaming about this. Maybe you should follow it. Or you've been having dreams about something, or you've been meditating and you have dreams, or you have like visions or messages in your meditation of like animals or numbers or a person, or whatever it is. So like omens are really important here, good and bad. And Pisces doesn't really see like good and bad. It just sees omens, but it's really how like it affects you internally. So like if a dream really scared you, let's say it had a certain animal in it, like research that animal and understand like what the animal means and what it's trying to tell you. Or if you had a dream and it made you feel good about something, like research that, delve deeper into that. So it's like, it's these places where we have like a higher consciousness, that messages are being told to us, and like synchronicities in our life. So if you start seeing like green lights or red lights, or like a certain type of car, or a certain license plate, like we have the manifesting potential here. So what's so powerful about this place in the chart is like we can manifest our dreams in Pisces. Like, to go back to the quote, imagination are the coming attractions of life. It is what is in your imagination that then you can say like, that wouldn't that be cool if that could happen? And you make it happen. You take what is inside of you in your imagination and you let it out. Disney had a lot of like Pisces, Neptune placements in his chart, in very strong places. And it shows that he like had these imaginings and then he turned them into reality. So like you can really do that here. If you start to understand the potential and your ability, we all have the ability to manifest, and we're doing it constantly, whether we know it or not. So like our thoughts truly become our reality here, and our feelings and everything. And if we can switch that around and we can switch the script, like we can switch the way we perceive life and like what our consciousness becomes. Here, one thing to guard against though is escapism. So like drugs can also do this. So like when used properly, like microdosing or like any sort of drug, like can be used really well. But if it's used in a negative atmosphere, that can start to shift like what is coming into your mind. And you want what's coming into your mind to be like this fluid energy that you can, be inspired by. So, getting too much into like the fantasy realm and too much into escaping. So like you could escape through like alcohol or drug use or sex or movies or television or stories. Like there's a lot you can escape through. You want to avoid that. So if it's becoming like, I can't face reality, I don't want to face reality, and you want to be in this like state where like you aren't focused on all the bad that's happening, you want to, check yourself on that and say like, okay, I want to experience these things, but not to like this extreme where like I totally lose grip of reality and what's real and all of that. So Pisces, you know, while it's a very present moment sign, it also loves noticing what could be and idealizing, you know, people and situations and experiences and all of that. So you just have to be careful with, you know, with Pisces energy, that you are using it in a way that you can shift consciousness in a very like positive and inspiring direction. Also here, this is a very empathetic place in the chart. So like you want to put yourself in other people's shoes. You want to understand like what someone else is going through, but you have to understand your own experience first. You have to understand like what it is you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and just really be with those situations and feelings so that you can then do that with someone else and be empathetic with someone else. Because the tendency is, if you don't do it with yourself, like, you know, putting the mask on by your first, like on an airplane, and then helping someone else, you're gonna get compassion fatigue because your boundaries just start to dissolve, because this is a water sign and water does dissolve boundaries. And you don't want that. You don't want like too much compassion, or else like you're gonna burn yourself out real fast. So look to the other earth signs in the chart to like create these boundaries. But the biggest thing is like tapping into your imagination, the way you're sensing and feeling, and like your consciousness, to understand it and to see like what the universe or God or the energy around you is telling you. Not telling you like, you know, talking to you, but it's like, it's signs from the universe to, you know, go down a certain path or do certain things. And once you can start to understand that, like, you start to have the ability to manifest and really like change the direction of your life if you want to. So it's a very powerful area when you can just like slow down and really surrender and just notice like, I have everything I already need right here and now, and I just have to tune into it. Hopefully this video was enjoyable, and I hope the other videos were enjoyable as well. I'll do another series on the houses next, and I'll start with the 4th house, which is the house of home and family. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.